Hi everybody, John Hinn with the Pulsing Cinema here. The movie of the day, The Third Mother. Okay, the conclusion to the Three Mothers trilogy. We met the Mother of Sighs, Mother Suspiriorum, in 1977, Suspiria. We met Mother Tenebrarum, actually the Mother of Darkness. I said the Mother of Death a couple of times earlier, but it's Mother Tenebrarum, the Mother of Darkness, in 1980's Inferno. And everybody was chomping at the bit to see the third mother, to see the Mother of Tears, Mother Lacrimorum, to see what the hell would go on with her. We got a little bit of a peek of her in Inferno as Anya Peroni, as she showed up. And, everybody was throwing their hat into the ring. People were doing, fan fiction for a couple of decades. Richard Stanley was saying, I can write the thing. Everybody wanted to write, everybody wanted to make this third movie. Finally, the planets aligned and the financing aligned as well. And in 2007, we had The Third Mother, starring Argento's daughter, Asia Argento, as a worker at a museum who gets caught up in the craziness as an urn is unearthed in a cemetery, and it's opened, and the evil is let out onto the innocent, unsuspecting Rome. A bunch of goth followers begin to form, and the third mother begins to wage a bloody war of terror against modern Rome. So I avoided this film for many years watching it. I only watched it actually in 2014. Or, I don't know, 2013, 2014 is the first time I watched it. I was scared of it. I was scared of watching it. I was really, because I wanted the third movie to be so good, because 1 and 2 were so good. I'm like, if the Mother of Tears is not good, it's going to crack a hole in the universe for me. It's just not going to be cool. And for many years, I actually had it on DVD, and I'd watched the first part, and I watched the opening title sequence, which is horrible, and it's got the Claudio Simonetti soundtrack, where he's going, Mada, Mada, over the soundtrack. It sucks ass, and it just portends a bad. And then you've got this hokey scene at the cemetery, and it's totally outside of the spookiness and the atmosphere and the mood of Suspiria and Inferno. The opening stuff is just totally out of that. One day I just sat my ass down, I'm like, man, I'm going to go through it, and I was very happily surprised. In fact, I think in some ways that in many scenes, in The Third Mother, you see flashes of Argento's brilliance about how he can, the violence and the stylized stuff, and how he can really make a scene become magic, and make it scary, and just give us some great fucked up imagery and some just eye-popping stuff. You see it in a lot of areas in The Third Mother. Of course, it's kind of postmodern Argento, where he's got to have some of the Argento tropes. He's got to have, the monkey and all this, whatever, we're calling past films. But going into it, I think there's some really good stuff in it. I kind of the whole hokey stuff with the ghost Dario Nicolodi and Asia Argento is kind of a little bit of maybe an in-joke, given the fact that Asia Argento is actually the daughter of Dario Nicolodi, and you don't really quite know that. It just kind of doesn't really make. It just kind of falls flat. It doesn't really make anything. It just doesn't really work. The Udo Kier scene is great. The scene of the murder of the lesbians is great. That was a whole. That scene was real violent, and you're like, oh my god, this is Dario Argento coming up to the front, and it's a film which looks good. It's a film where the dubbing is not that distracting. Just a great lashings of violence, and with it stylized, and then even The Third Mother, because I thought they were gonna at the beginning, okay, this doesn't look like Suspiria and Inferno. I thought they would just totally had abandoned the stylistic track that Argento was on, because that was another thing, is that stylistically, in some ways, Suspiria and Inferno, they're their own films, but they're very consistent. That when you get into the world of these three mothers, everything becomes kind of, the primary colors and things get weird and kind of magical with the light. And they do that a little bit in the third mother, but at least the look of the third mother is very consistent with what we saw from Anya Peroni in Inferno. So she kind of looks like that. So I felt like, oh my God, there's consistency. Somebody who's made this film has maybe watched those two other movies and who cares about it. Obviously, of course, Dario Argento cares about it, but yeah, it's not a film that I would go and rewatch 100 times, and it gets a little bit hokey with some of the stuff on the street, but it is a film that that you could really comfortably put against those two earlier films, which are, I think, massively more entertaining and cool and have a heavier rewatch value. I think personally, of the three movies, this may sound weird, but I think Inferno, for me, has the most rewatch value. I just find myself rewatching that, and there's a lot of interesting scenes in Inferno, and the way it's shot, and the way that there's just these, I love the big opening of the film, the cuts between New York and Italy, and just the sense of this kind of creeping dread. You get a little bit of the creeping dread, of course, in Suspiria, but it feels just more of a conspiratorial thing. And then you get a little bit of that in the third mother, but it's a little more of just a straight ahead blah 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 horror movie with some of the brilliant stylistic flourishes of an Argento. So wow, I got through that without any kind of harm, bodily harm. Nothing came out of the shadows and attacked me. The three mothers films, the third mother, the cap to that trilogy, I think a good end.